Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are doing episode 6 of the Bot Talk with Curty. Before we get into today's episode, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the previous episodes on the website and on Twitter. The website will be linked down below as usual. And in today's video, we have another sponsored by Notify Proxies. You will find all their socials down below, and if you use the discount code on screen right now, you will get a discount on your purchases. I highly recommend you guys check them out. They're very, very nice proxies. We're going to jump into the episode. Let's do this. On today's episode of the Bot Talk, we have Curty from CyberAIO and PeachyPings. He has accumulated over 24,000 followers across all social media accounts, such as PeachyPings, whilst covering proxies, servers, slots, and middleman services, and above all else, the group that is very well known within the community. Today, we're going to find out how Curty built a path for himself, led him to being part of one of the biggest bot teams, and being successful at reselling within the community. So jumping straight into the first question that we ask all our guests on the show: how did you discover reselling?
I got into reselling when I was about 15, 16 because of Supreme. I wanted a cap and I never knew that things resold. So I bought a cap on Depop for like £55 and I was like, holy shit, that's extortion for a cap. So then I got into it, I joined like the basement on Facebook and Supreme Talk, and then it went from there and got just more and more involved.
I see. That's interesting, because most guests on the show do actually discover the flip side of reselling first.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah, so you actually went to the consumer side, figured out that, okay, that's interesting, because obviously, yeah, most people find the selling side first and then go into the flipping side, but obviously you went the other way around. So that is pretty interesting. I guess it works both ways, and obviously the industry that we are in, reselling, is pretty profitable, so those prices tend to be up there. But that is pretty interesting. I think one of the most non-talked about things on the show so far is actually Facebook groups. Those are pretty powerful in my opinion.
They were huge, man. Like back when I first started, like Basement had like about 2,000 members, and now it's got what, like 85,000, 90,000. Like crazy how they blossomed out of nowhere. And like even Basement now have like the endorsement of Nike, Converse. Like that's huge moves for a group on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Like just the functionality of creating a group on Facebook, adding users to it, has just like blossomed into something that big, just by literally by word of mouth and the dedication of people wanting to create money, which is
100%. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So moving on to the next questions. Obviously, you discovered reselling. You discovered the opportunity that was there. What was one of the main motivations to continue to pursue reselling?
Well, there's two things. Number one, everyone will say this: it's money. Obviously, it's finance. And then number two was the idea of having these items that other people can't grab. Because where I'm from in my town, it's like no one wears Supreme or like big brands. So it was having that, just being unique and having things that no one else has in the area, as opposed to just wearing the same old high street brands. So that was one of the biggest parts to it all.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that is one thing that people outside the community won't understand. Obviously, the money part, every basic human can understand. But the second part of having an item that isn't retailly sold, it's hard to obtain. So it obviously adds more value, the sentimental value. Because to be honest, going down to the fundamentals of copying an item, there's always a story behind each one. Like most of the stuff I have, if I look at the item, I'll be like, okay, I did this so and so to get this item. And
you always know like where you were and like why you bought it, which it's crazy having that kind of like mentality about an item.
Yeah, and obviously that is one of the main factors as to why people do reselling, and obviously continue to buy items for personal and reselling. And obviously, like we touched upon in the first question, money is definitely a big motivation. Obviously, some people look down upon people own motivations being money in business. But
man, it's life, like everyone's out there trying to make money to try and justify, make like go on vacations, buy nice things, get a mortgage, get a car. Like, why lie about it? Like everyone wants money.
Yeah, money is how, obviously, that phrase that money makes a world go round. That is obviously one of the main phrases that comes to reselling. But going on to the third question, how did you bridge the gap between going from a regular person that does reselling to utilizing automation software such as bots to go for these items?
Well, basically, I think it was Check Me Out. It was like a Chrome extension. It was like a free Chrome bot, and I used that on the BOGO in 2016, and it got me my first box logo. So that was like that was huge. Like that was like, oh my god, I've got a box logo. This is fucking crazy. And then from there, obviously, you find out that all these sites like Adidas, Shopify, Supreme, everything is bottable. And then you get, it's like a rabbit hole, you go down it, and then before you know, you're involved too heavily. Like on the Reddit and whatnot, I was on there. That was how I found Discord actually. But yeah, on Reddit, there was like the Somata script for Adidas. It was like a free, it was a bot with Apache. And I used to use that on Adidas to get Yeezys. So that was crazy too. That's thrown back a good few years.
Yeah, it's crazy to compare what you just said to how bots work now. Obviously, bots at the moment, you have people investing tens of £1,000s. You have social media brandings. You have pre-built followings, beta phases, alpha phases.
Back then, there was only A and B and B and B on the market, and then heat sinks. There was not much like range out there. It was just free bots, and that's literally how it was for a long time. Until like Dash came along, and Officer Cyber, and Y Corp and Supreme Slayer, all them just out of nowhere came out, and that set the standard for today's market for bots.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't in the game back then. I was doing my own thing. I was on social media markets and such. But before I actually came to botting, one of the main things in business that I know from people is that some people don't have the confidence to go out and create one of the top products and compete with people. Yeah. But one thing that obviously from what I've learned from what you just said is progressively as time went through, I think people took that motivation, took that confidence to create products.
That's how it was. Like, everyone just came out of nowhere and just thought, well, we'll try, we'll learn this, we'll learn that, and we make like a good living out of it. Yeah. Which is nice, like, because now I see kids like 15, 14, 13 coding bots. Like, that's impressive, being that young and having like the mentality to go out there and learn like a new skill that will benefit them in 10 years time, 15 years time with an actual career path. Like, that's great. That's what should be happening.
Moving on to the next question. Now, obviously we talked about these bots and how exactly you went from using bots through Reddit, through social media, like really scripts, as to say. How did you discover CyberAIO?
Basically, I used to I do design work full time, freelancing, and that was like my only income growing up. I was like a late teen, early 20s. Like that was like how I paid rent and all that kind of stuff. So I started like offering bots my design services for license keys and that kind of thing. So I met Cyber through that, and that was when Lucas did the it was the SNS script and the Soulbox script. So that's like, it was all Python based. It was a long time ago. So yeah, like I met Cyber through the old like Python scripts back when I was doing design work full time. So that was like good 2 years ago or so now, I think.
I see. So initially when you did do work for CyberAIO, you were purely just a designer at the time?
Yeah, just like outsourced designer basically, yeah.
Okay, so one question that I want to add in here, how did you progress from being a designer for CyberAIO to going into one of the most well-known staff members and being a PR for CyberAIO?
Basically, Lucas saw that I was selling stickers. I was 1 month, I was broke as fuck, man. And I was like trying to get rid of like all my Supreme stickers so I can just have a bit more money for the weekend and whatnot. And Lucas was like, well, I'll hire you to be PR. And I was like, what? Yeah, fuck it, man. Yeah, I'll do it. And then from there, that was how it was, man. Yeah. It was out of nowhere.
See, so it's kind of one of those opportunities as they come. It wasn't exactly like... Yeah. So, okay, well, that is obviously good of him to do because that kind of manifested what we are in today. And to be honest, I don't think Cyber will be where it is or where it was without you being PR, obviously.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, obviously, I bet thousands of people can agree. Obviously, you are one of the most heavily impacted elements of CyberAIO, so...
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Going on to the next question. In the early days of CyberAIO, obviously being recruited to a team, being part of a family or something that big, what were some of the learning curves that you actually encountered when you started working for them?
Back then, like, I didn't have that much knowledge on servers, proxies, like all the core aspects of botting. I didn't know much about. So from that, it was like a huge learning curve of learning cyber, learning the software, learning how to use it properly, and then teaching other people in the same boat as I was to also use it properly. So obviously it was a big learning curve doing all that, and it's off from scratch too. So, and the amount of kids you have to teach who are like literally 12, 13, 14 year old. So you got like laying things down drastically so they understand you. So that was the hardest part, I guess. But apart from that, it comes naturally, doesn't it? Like, it's one of them things, man.
Yeah. I think it's progressive learning and adaptive learning. It's like
Definitely,
you just like obviously it's human nature to adapt to everything, but I think with bots specifically, the more you use, the more experience you get, and the more times you say something to someone, it kind of just gets ingrained in. But speaking on one of the biggest questions of today's show, at what point did you decide to get a logo tattooed of cyber on you?
It was like a running joke in the staff's staff Discord in cyber, because I was getting my right hand done on that day and my knuckles. So whilst I was there, I said, "Well, I got the cyber logo on my phone," and Luke said I wouldn't do it. So I thought, "Fuck it, I'll do it." And that's how it was, man. Yeah.
I see. So it was kind of like a joke at first, and then obviously, it kind of just went into doing it for real. And
Yeah, and plus, like with tattoos, the more case of if they're like you want to like look back and be like, "Well, I got that tattoo for that reason." You know, it's a memory. It's like it's a good time in my life, like doing what I do now. So I want to like remember that in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think obviously getting a cyber tattoo for reflecting a certain period of life was a good. No, I wouldn't say like I wouldn't push people to do it, but
Yeah, please don't do that now. Yeah, this is like full like PSA. Do not do it, please.
Yeah, it's kind of like deep waters because you don't want to tell people to do it, but at the same time, if someone to meet you and be like, okay, this is the logo of a company that I work for.
Crazy, man. Like we get like tickets and DMs all the time saying, if I get the logo on my leg or my arm, can I get a free copy? The answer will always be no. Please do not do it. Like I beg you.
Yeah, I think this whole bot tattoo idea only would work for people that have contributed to it for a long amount of time. Because personally, if I were to get like a tattoo offsite, let's say I got the offer to actually get a key like you just said, I don't think I would, just because of the fact that
5K, of course I would.
See, well, there is the financial part to it, but then at the same time, like 20 years down the line, I'd be looking at the tattoo and be like, okay, I only did that for 5K. But then 20 years down the line, like let's say if your kid comes up to you and says, okay, what's that tattoo for? You'd be like, okay, for X amount of time, I did this, and that's where it's from. So it's kind of has a story to it.
It's nice to look back, I guess, but it's hard to explain what it is. Like, because it just sounds to anyone else who's like not involved, like had a stupid decision to make, you know. But again, remember, you look back like, I did it because I want to do it. Like, why not?
Yeah. Speaking on looking forward and looking into the future, when you first joined Cyber, did you ever see Cyber growing into the brand that it is today?
That's weird. Like looking back now, like we always saw the motivation and determination in Lucas. Like obviously him being a kid, well not a kid, like a young adult. Him being how he was, like always pushing himself and working hard. Like it was one of the things where we knew at some point, because there wasn't much competition back then. So seeing him blossom and get better and better and better, we knew something was going to happen with him. But I didn't think it would be in this industry. I thought he'd mature and realize there's more to it than sneakers, you know. But what he's made from Cyber is crazy. Like, you know, like how big it is and like how stable it is, and like it's a full career path for him now, which is amazing.
Yeah, like the thing that blows my mind, isn't he like 16 or 17?
Sorry, Lucas. He's 17.
See, that blows my mind because I turned 17 in 2 months, and like,
yeah,
that just to like put that into perspective, that someone my age is making X amount of money.
I wish I know. If I knew how much he made, I'd probably be jealous. Put it that way, but I've got no idea how much he makes.
Yeah, I mean, people can estimate through like copies, but obviously he's making a very, very good amount for a 17-year-old.
Great living, yeah, definitely.
Well, obviously owning a bot and making X amount of money is a very commendable thing of him to do, and obviously that literally go down as one of the best periods of someone's life, making that much money at a young age.
100%, yeah, man. Like, cause right now, you can tell like he's being very mature with it all, and he's set himself up for the future. So he's stable for like the good 5-10 years of his life, which is amazing. To be like hit your late 20s, you've got floatability. That's what you need in 20s. So yeah, wicked man.
Yeah, he's pretty much so. But focusing more back onto you just for a second. Obviously, joining Cyber created a bunch of paths for you. It kind of helps you financially, helps you with your personal life, create all these contacts, all these friends within the community. But on the other side of the coin, what were some of the negative impacts it had on you or your life from getting all this popularity and all these opportunities?
Just all the constant DMs, the typical, like, where my social media, like even my Facebook is spammed, and I don't really care, like, I'm not asked. But when people like DM my family, I know like my relatives, and it's a bit like, like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like, DM my mum saying restock is not going to do fuck all,
Yeah.
But apart from that, man, like, it's been actually okay. Like, obviously made a lot of friends and a lot of big names. I know friends like Darren Eggins and whatnot, and Tommy from FIFA Lads, Toby, all them guys, and Soul Sorcerer, Michael from Notify, the Express Boys. I've made like a lot of friends who are like quite big in this industry, all because of Cyber. Which is great because it's helped me like make Peachy better than what it could be because of the contacts, that kind of thing, man. So it's wicked.
Yeah, obviously that is a positive thing to see, and in a way you can, if you like what you just said, you have friends from different organizations. You can actually kind of see how Cyber is kind of the center of it all, and it's kind of like split off into like branches of contacts and people, which is
said, man, like I wouldn't be where I am now in this game without Cyber and Lucas, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like that is one of the most dominating factors for people in this scene. I mean, yeah. But moving on to the next question, more on a positive note, on the other side of the coin, what are obviously some of the positives that you have yet to mention so far?
Obviously, just like, I think the best thing is when I can go anywhere in the world and I'll always have someone there to meet me for a pint or to get food or to show me some good spots, like, that's incredible, man. Like, the amount of times where I've tried to get reservations for a restaurant and I can't get them, and then I'll have someone in my DM saying, there you go, it's sorted. Like, some random stranger. Like, it's wicked, like, it's amazing. I get help from random people just because they know who I am online. Which is, I know it's really appreciative, like, by a long shot. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest perks of it all.
Yeah, I definitely do think that obviously the only way that most people can see this as is if you have like a celebrity status. And to be honest, this community, it's a decently big side, but I feel like in the inner circle of this community, there's a lot of very, very genuine people.
Definitely, like Michael and the Express Boys, man. Like, them good guys, 100%.
Yeah, like I definitely think that obviously, like you said, you can go anywhere and you can always have guidance and help from people. I feel like that is one of the dominant things within the botting community that obviously people overlook sometimes. But that is obviously a nice thing to see.
Well, in this game, like, everyone's like hidden behind personas and aliases and stuff, like, and that baffles me why people hide behind like, like these usernames and they don't show who they are. Like, why not? Like, just I think I'm very open with who I am online. Like, obviously everyone knows I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why, like, it's weird for me because I've been so just that attitude of not caring about people knowing who I am, my social medias, like all that kind of stuff. Because everyone's so hidden and reclusive about it all.
Yeah, I definitely think on a level, people can like relate to you on a level. I think people can obviously take a look into your life and be like, okay, he does this, this, and this, and he's successful in this, this, and this. So I feel like there's that relatability there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, man. I reckon so anyway. But I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that is one of the dominating factors as well as Cyber as to why you're so popular up in the community, because you're open. And obviously, we've talked about this on Michael's episode as well. If anyone's out there that is struggling with being more open, at the end of the day, it's your life. You can choose what you want to do. But
I understand, like, separating your online persona to your actual real life, like, kind of mentality. It's two different contrasting worlds, and some people don't want their online side of them branched off into the real world and vice versa, which I do understand.
Okay, well, we've talked about Cyber, we've talked about your whole type of upbringing in the community. Now moving on to more of a current topic in the community, and that is restocks. Now, for anyone out there who doesn't know what a restock is and you guys are simply watching this, just to get to know the community. Essentially, a restock is where a group, a product, or a service brings more of its products to the public face and the customers can go ahead and buy it. So whether it's a bot, whether it's access to a group, you basically go for it for access to that bot or group. Now, the biggest topic at the moment regarding restocks is the perfect formula. Now, loads of different groups, loads of different bots do different ways of doing this. Now, my question is for today's guest, what, in their opinion, is the best formula for restocking any type of service or bot?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, no matter what you do, you can't impress everyone. Yeah. Like, there's always going to be someone who's going to be upset or pissed off about the way you've done things. So you can't win no matter what. So when people get really annoyed over salary stocks or any other bot for that matter, you have to understand that the teams are trying their hardest to make it as fair and as stable as possible. But, you know, it's difficult, man. Like, obviously. But I think the best way to do it and the most fair is a raffle. Like Curty do a good method. So the Dash. Obviously with Cyber, it's one of them things, man. Like the way we do it works, you know, and it's fair. It's first come, first served, you know. It's too, if you're fast, you've got it. You know, like it's one of them things, man. Obviously internet connection affects things and whatnot. So a raffle is pretty fair in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we just talked about Cyber, in my opinion, and obviously people can disagree with me if they want, hosted one of the best restocks today and probably will be in this community for a very long time.
Give a shout out to Neil for that. That's at CyberAIO. He made that restock up. That was all him alongside Lucas and Wolf. That was a unique restock to put it in a nice way. But yeah, man, like we were all kept in the dark, so only them three knew about the restock. So when that happened, I shit myself. Fucking playing Pac-Man now. Like, what's going on? But yeah, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, guys, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna drop his Twitter down below in the description. Go ahead and follow him, go ahead and at him and thank him for the restock. It was amazing. If you guys were there to actually experience it, let me tell you something. I have a recording that I've yet to upload, and it's just like everyone was just screaming because like it just put into perspective how many people went for Cyber. There was over 40,000 people on that live stream.
Yeah, on the stream itself. At one point, we were number 9 in the world for streams. Like that's incredible, man. Our bot company Twitter was number 9 in the world on Twitch. Like for fucking hell. Like how bad is that?
That whole moment, like despite me wanting to go get Cyber so I could actually use it, I didn't even want to sell it. Like it just kind of puts into perspective that like how many people are truly in the community and how many people.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can go ahead and look at people's tweets and impressions. That will only tell you such thing. But if you have 45,000 people all on a live stream sat there watching a TV count down to 0, like
on a Sunday evening,
yeah, like on a Sunday evening, like when times aren't exactly the busiest.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It kind of blew my mind. Like that's why I wanted to talk about it today. I mean, to say that was just a restock, and usually they do monthly restocks. I don't know what they're gonna have planned next month. Like I don't know how they're meant to like stay on that level.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like it is one of those things where like I feel like obviously you've seen proxy companies and bot companies copy the same idea.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
The same day.
I do one Flightbird, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, you can't beat the original. That's what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can, to be honest. Like, and obviously there is like a very small void of criticism with that restock that there's site like, but I don't think.
Bear in mind, man, like they did like upscale the servers before the drop, so you know they had everything planned in advance, but we did not expect that level of volume. Like, you know, it was a heavy dosage on the site. Like, Jesus, man, it was heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't understand like how all that works. Like now do I, to be fair. But you know, like surely you can acknowledge and respect that when you've got like 50,000 people trying to get into your site, it's going to be hard to keep that stable. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Like no site is built to expect that much traffic because realistically speaking, to host a game of Pac-Man that linked to another link so you can have a chance to buy, like no site has ever gone that complex and hosts.
Tried it, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no one's tried like something that deep and that unique. So yeah, but hopefully that like makes like a new standard for how you be creative on these releases. So all the competitors can take like a note out of that book and maybe try something a bit different and a bit more fun that encourages users to like interact fully.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that compared to going through Shopify and filling out your details and doing express checkout is
Yeah,
definitely like
I'll
a
pay
huge,
back,
huge
you
difference.
know.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's obviously some people can be like, okay, it's simple, it's easy, you go through PayPal, boom, or you can host this entire event and obviously interact with your users and obviously all in all. Yeah. But moving on to the second sector of today's show, and moving on to PeachyPings. If you guys don't know what PeachyPings is, it is a group owned by Curty. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to go check it out. Obviously, like I said at the beginning, they do servers, they do proxies, they do slots, they do middleman services, and above all else, they're a very, very well-known group. Now, what was the idea that sparked the creation of PeachyPings?
This is all down to Michael from Notify. Obviously, I know Michael quite well. We met a while ago through Cyber. Turns out he's from my town. When he made Notify, and we were speaking in the pub, and he was like, "Well, why?" And I laughed it off, like, "Nah, you know, whatever." And me and some of the guys from Cyber, so Teddy, Neil, Brandon, Dilly, Charlie, you know, we all spoke about it. Like, why don't we do it? Like, why not try it? So we thought, fuck it, man. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. And yeah, it went okay. I think it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I obviously it is one of the biggest groups out there. Your name is out there, and obviously loads of people have supported it. I remember when it first got announced because I was in the community then. I was really interested to see how it go because obviously you have a lot of following from Cyber and you have a lot following from your persona really. So I knew that group was obviously going to get pushed out there and do well.
But not everyone's got the same level of like platform to actually use it as like to stand up and say, right, this is the group. So we were lucky to have like at first. Obviously that like obviously we're all friends retweeting and stuff. 5k followers and stuff like that helped grow very, very fast. You know, so that was we were just lucky like having like all the friends we have and the followers we have really.
Moving on to the next question, what were some of the challenges you faced with at the beginning of PeachyPings?
First thing was obviously like we went in there blind, man. You know, like we didn't know what we were doing, so we winged everything. So from finding developers to you know the auth system, to even learning how to properly use a Discord server. You know, so we went in there blind, man. We didn't have a fucking clue what we were doing, and yeah, I think that was the challenge was just trying to work it out as we went. You know, so we took about I think it was a good 3 or 4 months before we even left beta, where it was just all friends and family. So we spent a lot of time like trying to iron out most things we could iron out until we can go public. So we're just very lucky to have friends again, like you know, Connor from Express. He gave us a free auth system to start out with, you know. So very, very lucky to do that. And then developers know like the Gap team, so you know, Sudo, Pidgey. Pigeon. I don't know his name. I can't forget. I'm so sorry, man. But yeah, all them boys, man. Like you know, they had our back from day one, which is fantastic because they're probably the best providers for Shopify and whatnot in the market, 100%.
Yeah. So speaking on what you just said, obviously you kind of winged it going into PeachyPings, which is fine. It obviously paid off. But when looking for people, when recruiting people, what were you looking for in people? Because obviously there's a specific skill set people look for. Sometimes it's characteristics, sometimes it's background in a certain area. What were you looking for to bring into people to PeachyPings?
It was all passion, man. I just wanted people who were passionate about like what they were doing. You know, like you don't want someone who just sat there and half-assed and like obviously they're into the game, but they're not passionate about providing that experience to users and like showing people the ropes. And you know, like that's what you want. You want people to help people who've just started out. So we went for just passion, motivation, determination, hard working, polite. You know, just a pleasure to be around. You know, then obviously you want someone you can FaceTime at 4 in the morning and say, "Hi, I need your help." You know, and we have that, which is incredible. Our team, like Jug, Small, you know, all the guys, incredible lot. Then our helpers, our support staff, again, crazy good bunch, you know, like just could not pick a better team, 100%. So we got very lucky with who we picked.
Well, obviously that's a good thing to hear. Anyone who is in PeachyPings, rest assured you have a very, very good team behind you. But going on to the next question, going into making PeachyPings, like you said, you did bring some elements of it. What were some of the preconceptions you made going into the project that were wrong?
Everything. I don't know, man. I think I didn't realize how much work you need to put into it to make it sustainable, to make it work. Like, because obviously you see kids now making groups and that's it. And, it looks like it's easy work. But trust me, man, like, we would do fucking 40 nowadays, but we're all working like behind the scenes. So we're not in chat 24/7. We've got shit going on to sort out. And like people don't understand, like, just because someone isn't talking in the main chat rooms or in whatever or in the voice chat, it doesn't mean that they've dipped, So there's a lot of work going on behind closed doors that people don't fully realize, like how much work goes into like these kind of groups. It's incredible.
Yeah, like we've mentioned this before on multiple episodes. Obviously, we've had people from Boss like Jack, Michael, Sean from PD, and obviously they've all literally said the point you just said, which is obviously two sides to a coin. The consumer can only see what you want them to see, and then slowly as time goes on, you slowly move those doors back so you can bring out new projects. And yeah, exactly. I feel like that is a good thing because the consumers don't know what's coming. And obviously, if you are planning loads of stuff, it's obviously just going to make their experience better. So I guess
some things you can't even announce straight because you want obviously keep things under wrap whilst it's being worked. Because if you start saying, "Oh, you ever got this coming on this date," and it backfires and you can't get out for that date, you're gonna like have a lot of people pissed off. So you got to keep things under wrap. So until you know 100%, you've got a plan and you've got to fix and you're ready for a certain timescale. But again, like people don't fully realize that they want to just things to be done there and then, pushed, updated, ready to use. And that's not, unfortunately not how it works. Like you got to wait.
Yeah, I guess there's always setbacks. There's always spanner in the works. But I guess the main message for consumers to take from today's episode is that patience with products and services.
Yeah.
Going on to the next question. How has the success of Peachy impacted you as a person?
It's made me work harder. It's made me like really appreciate like what I do for a living and like not take it for granted and obviously like the whole work ethic side of it all. It's made me push myself and do longer days and like bail on nights out or go to the pub, believe it or not. Work, I've got this big thing online where everything I just get pissed all the time, which there's some element to that, I guess. But I do a lot. Like obviously, I just wish that I knew how much went on for these kind of groups before I started them, because then I would have dedicated a lot more time in the A days.
Yeah.
Because now we're playing catch up. Because obviously you got Express doing a fucking incredible job. Restock World again.
Yeah, obviously you have to give credit where credit's due. And loads of groups are doing well right now. I guess it's always that constant battle of bringing out new features that no one's seen before and trying to balance everything out. Pardon?
Yeah, and staying relevant too.
Yeah, staying relevant. I guess it links back to one of the original questions we did talk about is that persona. I feel like every group owner, every bot owner, however far they're willing to push their persona and their social media presence, it does impact on the bot. Like, if you were to tweet something out about Cyber or Peachy, we already directly associate that to the service, and we already know, okay, we need to stay on this time for X amount of time. Yeah. So I definitely feel like personas and pushing social media presence is definitely an important factor when it comes to these things. Now, this question may be something you might not be able to answer, but for the final question for Peachy, what is planned for Peachy in the future?
We're currently starting to work on Peachy Toolkit, which is like a copy generator, profile converter, and a lot more that I don't really want to say, obviously on interview. Then we're working on getting the Peachy app from iOS back up to scale, because obviously Tom's been out for an internship, so we've been a bit of a knockback for that. And then obviously just keep things going well, keep pushing the brand, keep pushing the name, trying to keep it as successful as possible, ensuring our users are doing well, you know, buying a lot of stock, making money. That's the end goal, is to help people make money. So hopefully, that's the plan, man. Basically, just keep pushing.
Yeah, well, you guys heard it here. In however many months' time, you guys come back to this episode, and obviously PT has released all this stuff. You guys know they've been working on it since now, and yeah, like, to be fair, some of the stuff that you did mention has been in the works for a while. Like, I definitely remember PeachyPings has been around for quite a while. Like, the idea of it.
Yeah.
So obviously, one thing to take from this is that they're not going to push products that don't work. They're going to push products that will provide customer satisfaction. Moving on to the final sector of today's interview, it is the Twitter questions. We have 3 questions for today's episode. We'll go ahead and say your name if you guys did submit a question and it was successfully put into the interview. So for the first question, how do you manage your social life as well as your responsibilities? You have to your group and CyberAIO, and that comes in from Squeak Turtle on Twitter.
Basically, just focus on getting cyber done first, cyber's priority, because that's my first job, obviously. So that comes first. And the group, obviously, I'm lucky to have a team behind me who can help me out with workload, which is obviously ideal. So obviously, they're not helping me cover all bases. And then for my social life, I do see my girlfriend on the weekend, and during the week, if my friends are home from work, I might go to the pub and have a few pints, and then that's literally like my life, you know. So I'm not that adventurous. So my vacations you see on Twitter, that's like once in a blue moon.
Well, obviously, it's nice to see that you have a balance there. You have like ratios of time. You have CyberAIO set to one time. You have your social life set to one time. PT set to another time, and obviously recruiting people in to help you with that. That is definitely a good.
No point like overworking yourself when you're like doing 20-hour days every single day. It's gonna just drain you, and that's no way to live, man. You know.
Yeah, I guess obviously in life, no matter how many responsibilities you do have, obviously you're here to have a good time as well. So having that balance is definitely a good thing. But moving on to the second question. Have you ever been flamed for being a reseller in your personal life? This comes from TOLGA55TR on Twitter.
And that's also a staff member in PG. Shout out. But no, not really, man. No, I don't think so anyway. Like, everyone's been pretty calm about it, you know. I never really had any issues about like reselling in general. Just the normal Facebook shit where you get kids like, oh my god, you resellers are taking all my stock, you know, fuck off. That's it, man, yeah.
Moving on to the third question. What are your future plans for reselling? This comes from IOM Lit15 on Twitter.
Keep avoiding cancellations. And keep making money, man. Yeah, to keep hustling.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Keep hustling, keep going for these drops. Keep selling and see what it takes. Well, guys, I think that concludes today's episode. But before you go, guys, we have an extra segment at the end of today's episode. So before we get to that end segment, I want you guys to go down below in the description. Check out Curty, check out Peachy. All those links were down below. Check out Cyber down there. Check out Sephora for creating the Cyber video as well. And now moving on to the last segment of today's video.
Okay. Basically, you want to open up your Chrome browser or any. You want to type in PeachyPings.com/?, password equals, and TheBotTalk. Good luck, 25 copies live.